Hello everybody, welcome to the Farscape Rewatch podcast, episode 7. I am your host, CantWearHats, and joining me is RedNightmare.
Hello!
Hello! And we're going to talk about the episode PK Tech Girl. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think we both really like this one.
I'm not entirely sure where I stand on this episode, but I think at the end of it I'll be able to give a more clear reading on it.
Yeah.
Because I'm really interested what you're going to say, because you told me beforehand that you really liked it. I'm going to be interested to hear your case.
Alright. Well, okay. Well, let's see then. Let's see. So this is, as you may know can tell from the title, PK Tech Girl, PK standing for Peacekeeper. We're gonna get into the sort of a bit more Peacekeeper lore and backstory and all that kind of stuff. So you can probably guess which member of the crew this is going to feature heavily.
Yep. It's going to be Rigel.
Yes.
Okay. That's actually where we open up. We see an alien eye, and it takes a moment to realize that it's actually Rigel.
It's like an extreme close-up of Rigel's eye.
Oh my god, the puppet is that good?
Yeah, and he's staring basically at a ship out of the view screen.
Yes.
And it's a dead Peacekeeper ship, basically. A Peacekeeper ship that is lying in space. I think it's in like the rings of a gas giant planet or something.
Yeah, I think something like that.
And what do they do with it? Do they just, get out of there? Maybe there's some stuff they can use. Crichton and Zan want to get out while they still have the chance.
When you see a big dead animal, you don't stay around to figure out what killed it.
Yeah, because, exactly. They're worried about, well, what could do this to this huge Peacekeeper ship? It's like a cruiser or something. It's
huge.
It's
massive.
It's
probably the biggest ship they've ever seen.
Yeah. But Dargo, he wants to check any data left on the ship for possible star charts back to their homeworlds, because if you remember, they're in the uncharted territories, and they're also kind of figuring out, wait, why is there a Peacekeeper ship in the uncharted territories? And Aeryn also wants to know, she needs to know, I think she says who the ship is.
I think she literally says who she is.
Who she is, yeah. So she needs to figure out what happened to this Peacekeeper ship.
Mm-hmm.
But Rigel comes in with some information because he knows what it is. He says it's the Zelbinian.
It's the ship Rigel's tortured on right after his capture.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yep, it's the most feared ship in the Peacekeeper Armada, and it went missing over it was 100 cycles ago.
Yeah, it's 100 cycles. They mentioned over 100 cycles. It was considered invincible.
Yeah.
Now it's a piece of junk, so it's like,
what
yeah,
did
you really
this?
Don't want to know. You really don't want to know what did this.
You don't want to stick around to find out, but that's exactly what they are going to do, more or less. So yeah, they're going to dock with it, and Aeryn, Crichton, and Dargo are going to go over and investigate.
Yes.
So they hop over there, and they go to, check it out. And it looks like a big industrial thing on the inside. It's like a factory, or just piping and metal grates and chains and things everywhere.
Throughout the episode, I don't know where they found this building that's masquerading as this ship, but it's gorgeous.
Yeah, it really looks great.
Perfect for this.
Yeah, and I actually think you're right in that it is a building, but they do, unlike certain other, let's say, cheaper sci-fi shows that will not do a very good job disguising that the, quote, inside of a spaceship is just a factory and quite clearly a building. Mm-hmm. They actually, because I think because of the way it's lit, very dark and dim, you are sort of, I guess, fooled a little bit better.
Yeah.
That this is the inside of a massive ship and not just, Joe's hat factory.
It gives a very, very strong... it reminded me a lot of Alien.
I was going to say the exact same thing. It really did.
And there's another reason this episode reminded me of Alien, because I checked something. I think what Aeryn is wearing is pretty much what Ripley is wearing in... I think it's Aliens.
Yes, it's Aliens. This episode involves, at least for a little bit, involves Aeryn basically getting her Ellen Ripley on. Because she has the grey tank top and black trousers or whatever, and is carrying a two-handed weapon slung around her neck, kind of like a big rifle, which is somewhat reminiscent of the flamethrower from Aliens. It seems like a pretty direct homage, especially in one of the establishing shots of the inside of the peacekeeper ship, where there is a bunch of chains hanging down with things dripping off them.
I saw this scene as well. I wanted to mention that as well. There's water dripping off, and it's like, I saw this like, isn't this Alien?
It's like
I think I've seen this one.
It's like that plus what Aeryn's costume is in this episode. I'm like, that's gotta be a direct
that can't
Alien
be. That has to be
reference
intentional.
Yeah, but it's not ever any more in your face than that. It's just
I'm kind of disappointed that John doesn't make a reference to it. That would have been kind of on the nose, but
yeah, that's I think I'm glad he didn't, because like you said, it would have been a bit on the nose. But
I like on the nose sometimes.
Sometimes it works.
I'm a simple man with simple pleasures.
Fair enough. All right, so they're looking around the ship, Aeryn, Dargo, and Crichton. And basically, it seems like it's just junk. There's nothing there. There's just a load of dead people. But Crichton has found a console which has the lights still on.
Communications.
But Aeryn says, well, someone must have turned it on recently, because this ship went missing 100 cycles ago. So even if it wasn't destroyed, it shouldn't be still working. And one of the corpses starts to move.
Zombies!
Nope. Not this time, because underneath it is a very alive peacekeeper woman.
And Aeryn basically fires at her.
Basically attacking this woman who's leapt out from underneath and trying to get away. And Crichton's like, whoa, settle down. What the hell's going on?
Everybody calm down. No. Don't kill her. And
the peacekeeper, who we find is named Jelena, she recognizes them. She knows who they are. It's Officer Aeryn Sun and the escaped prisoners. And Crichton's like, well, how do you know that? And Aeryn knows how she knows, because I know you know I know. But Aeryn replies that she's a tech from Crace's ship.
Uh-oh.
Oh, so that means
around?
They've been through here.
There is one good thing about this, because apparently Crace has overshot them. So with a bit of luck, if they don't travel too quickly, he might just pass them by.
Yeah, like he's been through here already, which probably means he isn't coming back this way.
Yep.
So at least for the moment, they seem to be safe from Crace.
But still, they're worried that
he
might be closer by than they think.
Yeah. So Aeryn is sort of questioning her in peacekeeper fashion. She goes into full, and Crichton actually references this, full like drill sergeant mode.
Yeah. She's really tiring Jelena out, like trying to use basically hard discipline to get her to tell the truth. And I like that John steps in.
Yeah,
and Aeryn doesn't just whack him to the ground, and that she says, "Don't interfere. This is my world."
Yeah,
I really like that line.
Yeah, and she does a very good job of being intimidating. It's also helped by the fact that the woman playing Jelena is actually a bit shorter than Claudia Black, so she can actually look down on her quite effectively.
Jelena's actress is not that tall.
No,
it's like a head shorter than Browder.
Yeah, and she's, again, another Australian actress, funnily enough, because that's where this whole thing was shot, and she's got blonde hair and just fairly short, and is being menaced by Aeryn.
And let's be honest, Aeryn can be terrifying when she wants to be.
Yeah, but Crichton is trying to get her to give Jelena a break.
And Aeryn rightfully counters, like, no, you don't understand this. She's from Crace's ship. Her mission is going to be to lie to us as much as possible. And John's like, point taken.
I like that John does actually take Aeryn's advice as someone who knows how peacekeepers work. He's not just like, no, but this is how you should do. He's like, okay, I get it.
Carry on.
But then he counters with, if she drops dead, then you won't get any answers. So ease up a little bit.
Yeah, enough to keep her alive.
Yeah, basically. So yeah, while this has been going on, Rigel, he refuses to go over. He doesn't want to go to the Zelbinian.
He doesn't want to go looting.
Yeah, I like that. That really made me start looking at things again in a Dungeons and Dragons kind of way. when Zan says to Rigel, like, you don't want to go looting? You always like to loot.
I mean, to be completely fair, I feel that was a good reference without straight going to Dungeons and Dragons.
Yeah, no, that is
a
fair.
Good way of her noticing, like, usually you're the first one to start plundering.
Yeah.
for riches.
Listen,
especially because he counters like, I'm a dominant, I wouldn't stoop that low. I think you stooped that low the last 3 or 4 wreckages we found.
Yeah, exactly. But I mean, we have a habit of basically turning these episodes into D&D references.
Oh, trust me, I'm coming back to the references.
All right, okay. But he doesn't want to loot it because, as we said, that actually he was on board this ship when he was deposed about 130 cycles ago. He was captured and put onto the peacekeeper ship where he was tortured. So yeah, he really doesn't want to go back over there. Doesn't want to revisit that.
PTSD.
Yeah, basically. But Zan says, well, you should confront your demons.
Yeah, this episode deals with some heavy stuff as well.
It does. Like, this is a very heavy episode. The last few episodes, I think, have been, like, adventures, and this episode gets very heavy. But back on the Peacekeeper ship, Jelena has told Aeryn and Crichton that what actually happened was Crace sent her unit over, and 2 days later, another ship turned up and blew up their marauder.
Yeah. Basically, and the reason that Crace isn't here anymore is because he didn't want to postpone his search for Crichton. He realized how important the Selbinian was, but on the other hand, it's like, I'm a man on a quest for vengeance, I'm not stopping. Here, you guys go figure this out, call me if there's trouble.
Yeah, we'll be back for you later or something. And there was trouble, and Dargo says it's the Sheyangs, group of aliens who we've not met before.
No, but apparently they're scavengers.
Yep. Because, he's been looking for stuff to scavenge from the ship and finds that it's already been gutted completely dry, basically.
Yeah.
But they couldn't have done it all, he says. And there are no records of what happened either because the ship's data stores were scavenged.
Yeah, which apparently isn't something the Sheyang could do.
They're more concerned with, like, material things that they can sell or something. And then Rigel appears on the Zelbinian, having taken Zan's advice, and is taking a look around, and is quite clearly shaken. He's not having a good time. But he's caught up to where everyone else is, and when he sees Jelena, he just spits right in her face. Because he's like, he really, really doesn't like peacekeepers, especially on this ship, because this is where he was tortured. Yeah.
And I like that John just lifts him out of his chair, like, cut it out.
So he's gone off looking around a bit more. And, this is really creepy.
Yeah.
That Rigel suddenly sees an ominous figure and says, "Welcome home." It's like, oh no.
So to give you an impression of what this guy looks like, he's bald, white man, I guess somewhere in his 40s, 50s, I'd say.
Yeah, I would say so, yeah.
Like
yeah.
A big scar over his face and a glass eye, and giving a very Hannibal Lecter vibe.
A little bit, and also kind of like a movie Nazi villain kind of thing.
Yeah.
Or like James Bond villain with the big scar down his face or something.
Yeah, and he's just... Right? Rigel's face.
Oh god, he's terrified. Also,
very marvelously terrified.
Yeah.
Terrified. Sheer terror on that puppet's face.
At this point, we don't actually know if that's real or not.
I'll be honest, I figured out pretty quickly which of the two it was, but...
Well, because it's clear that this is still very traumatic for Rigel.
Yeah, doesn't really matter if it's real or not for him.
Yeah, exactly. And meanwhile, the others have found a dead body who is a victim of the Sheyang, part of Jelena's unit. But Aeryn also recognizes him.
Yeah, because it's somebody from our old unit, apparently.
But then she's like, well, what was he doing guarding the likes of Jelena?
Yeah, it's grunt work.
Yeah, not the kind of work that people in her unit should have been doing. And Jelena reveals that Aeryn's whole unit was demoted once Aeryn defected.
That's pretty harsh.
I mean, that's in line with what we've seen from Peacekeepers, but that also, it kind of shocks Aeryn a bit because she had, I guess up till now, thought that what she had done had really only affected her and had only, caused her world to be turned upside down. But nope, turns out actually what you did screwed over a bunch of other people as well.
I just realized maybe we should start keeping a Peacekeepers or assholes count.
I mean, we're going to run out of room or numbers for that very quickly. Just Peacekeepers are arseholes. Yes, confirmed.
Yes, okay. Yeah, you're probably right.
And also, the only way for Aeryn's unit to be reinstated to their former rank is when Aeryn dies.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So, there's a decent chance that their old unit is basically out to get her now.
Yeah, must be, like, along with everyone else on the Peacekeeper ships. And as if that wasn't enough to deal with, Pilot has spotted a ship coming in.
Just on the edge of sensor range.
Yeah.
Just trying to stay out of sight.
It's like hiding, and Zan confirms that it's a Sheyang vessel. Oh no.
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
They're back.
And Aeryn is like, okay, why the Sheyang's back? She gets really upset and just grabs Jelena. And just like, you're a traitor, you knew they were coming back. You knew, you led us here, you're gonna let them kill us. And Jelena says, nope, I'm not a traitor, I didn't know. And again, Crichton steps in to break it up. That seems to be the role he's falling into this episode.
It's like, okay, stop it, stop fighting, talk to each other, let's mediate. Why are you grabbing that gun?
Yeah. And he tells Jelena that, well, Aeryn's no traitor either, but Crace didn't give her a chance.
Not like the chance we're giving you.
And so she tells them that she actually hid while the Sheyangs took everything. That's why she's still here, not because of some kind of deal with them to, lure people in or something. And so Dargo has returned to command, where Zan wants to get out of there. They want to leave.
He's like, you know what? Take it. We'll leave. It's fine. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
But then Dargo says, because apparently he's dealt with Sheyangs before, he says that when Sheyangs see strength, they flee, and when they see weakness, they destroy. So if you try and run, we'll be blown up. And also, we get a shot of the Sheyang, and they're frog people.
Yeah. Jim Henson Company at his best, ladies and gentlemen.
Strikes
These
again.
things look amazing.
They're so good. There's I think we only ever see 3 of them, but they're full sort of body costume. They've got like bulbous fingers and like wide mouths and green kind of a little bit slimy skin and beady eyes and all that stuff.
I love the goggles. Most of them are
Yeah,
on their foreheads. Basic jumper.
It looks really good, and the inside of their ship looks very, again, kind of industrial, but very close and small and full of random bits and bobs, like a junker scavenger ship would look.
Yeah. No, I really like these guys, actually. This is one of my favorite pieces of this episode. These aliens, these look great.
Yeah, they look really good.
Culturally, we find out during the episode some interesting things about them as well.
There's a good amount of character and world building there in just those guys. Yeah,
they only have a few scenes really, but in those scenes they get across a lot of information about this species.
So on the peacekeeper ship, Crichton and Aeryn and Jelena are going to try and get the Zelbinians' defense screen operational so that they can survive the oncoming
Potential attack.
Yeah, the potential attack. I mean, they're pretty much sure that they're going to try and blow them up. And funny enough, Crichton seems to understand what Jelena's trying to do, because Jelena's like, okay, well, we need to do this, this, and this. And Erin's not a tech, so she can't really do it. And she seems to be basically ignoring Crichton because, whatever. But then Crichton's like, no, right, I see what this is. It's this thing and this thing and this thing. And she's like, oh, okay then. I guess you can help.
I like that Jelena and John are actually geeking out together.
Yeah.
They are both scientists, and they might be in slightly different fields, but they both know how to build ships.
So the Sheyangs begin their weapon countdown. They're like, right, get ready to fire.
Start the clock.
Dargo is also mad salty at this point. He's very angry.
He's pissed because he doesn't have anything to fight back with. Yeah, and so he starts swearing. He basically starts swearing at them. And what I really like about this is that he starts swearing in English, and then very slowly goes over to his own language.
Yeah. I wonder if that's just because we reach the swears for which there are no translations.
I hadn't even thought of that. That's a good one.
It's like, that doesn't really translate very well. It's a very particular swear.
And then the translation microbes are like, no. Nobody else needs to hear that one. That's fine. We'll just not filter that. It's fine. It's good.
But then Zan gets the bright idea to get Pilot to transmit the image of Dargo being very angry and screaming at the Sheyangs.
And the Sheyangs are like, Luxon!
Oh, we're in trouble now. Stop the countdown. Stop the countdown.
If there's one, there's also always more.
Yeah, this is a pretty epic bluff that they're pulling off here.
It's like somebody rolled a 20 here.
Yeah. I like that it was Zan's idea, because Dargo's... I mean, he must know that that's what people think of Luxons, but he doesn't... He just gets angry.
Yeah, he's just really mad at them. He just starts screaming, not even knowing that they could hear him at some point.
Yeah.
It's just venting all his frustration at the view screen.
So they've managed to buy themselves a bit more time. Basically time to put the shield up.
Yeah.
Before they realise that there isn't actually anything else. There aren't any other Luxons there.
It's like they don't even have a pea shooter.
Yeah. And Crichton says, well, they can get the defense screen working in... Well, actually, Jelena said it would take 8 arns. And remember, if you're keeping score at home, an arn is basically an hour. So it would take 8 hours, which that's not an amount of time they have. But John says, no, it'll take 4 arns, because he can do half the work.
Yeah, he knows what he's doing.
So he's like, yeah, it's very sophisticated equipment. And he's like, yeah, I love opera.
I'll be honest, I didn't get that joke the first time.
Sophistication.
I'm sorry, I just drew a blank on that one. I
That's
guess
all right. I mean, that's the reaction of everyone else in that scene. So
fair enough.
You're fitting in well with the rest of the crew.
I feel right at home.
And then Dargo says to Zahn, I don't want to... Oh, yeah, this is...
This is what I wanted to talk about D&D, because as we've established before, Dargo's player is the kind of character that's like, no, but this is what my character would do.
And everyone else is like, come on.
And this is exactly that again, because Dargo doesn't want to lie to his enemy. It's like, no, I need to be... Luxons are honorable. They don't lie to their enemies. And like, oh, god damn it. I was also almost going to say, did he multi-class into Paladin?
Maybe he did.
So yeah, that and Zan's like, look, I can't lie to them. They're only afraid of you. You're going to have to do this.
And she's like, it's not lying. It's just misleading. It's, you know... And then I like that he says, like, for a priest, you have a very flexible morality.
What she implies then is like, yeah, that's the reason I'm still alive.
So meanwhile, Jelena and Crichton are kind of working on the defense screen, trying to get it operational. And, you know, Jelena mentions that, Crichton, you killed Crace's brother.
Yeah, you ass.
Yeah, what was that all about? But then he says, well, it was an accident. The 2 ships collided and could have gone either way.
And I think she believes him at this point.
Yeah, because like this whole time he's been helping her and has been kind of on her side a little bit, or at least trying to figure out what's been going on without jumping to conclusions. And so, yeah, she trusts him, it seems. So much so that when he says it was an accident, she believes him. And there's some kind of bonding going on here. They seem to be getting along.
Yeah, these two, I mean, they share an interest in science.
Yeah.
They're both not bloodthirsty killers.
That's true. Yeah, and also the Sheyangs, they also don't believe that Dargo has soldiers with him who are aboard the Zelbinian.
But Dargo's like, you want to come over and try?
Yeah.
Do you really want to try? I mean, sure, come on over, try to invade. We'll see how that goes.
See what happens. Again, he's trying to bluff them, and it seems to be working for now.
I mean, he's doing a pretty good job for somebody who doesn't like lying. He's pretty confident.
He's pretty good at it.
And I like that Zahn is...
Oh, yeah, she's kind of like off-screen, prompting him with things to say.
Yeah. She isn't holding up prompt cards, but that could have been a thing.
Yeah. But the Shayang is kind of getting tired of this. He's like, you're trying my patience. And Dargo's like, okay, the next time we talk to them, they're going to attack us. We've bought some time, but not a lot. So yeah, and while this is going on, and while Crichton and Jelena are getting close, Rigel is, he's experiencing kind of some flashbacks, really, or visions of his torturer. He's hiding on Moya. He's kind of hiding inside a little hole made out of bits and pieces. And
he's basically hiding under a bunch of boxes.
Yeah, and the DRDs are kind of scouting around trying to get in there. But he's seeing his torturer. We find out it's called Captain Durka. But then Zan's is like, well, Durka is dead. Durka's dead. It's been 100 cycles. He's dead.
He's dead. He's not dead to me.
Yeah, he's still very much affected by this, even though it was 100 cycles ago. Like, this is...
I don't know how long his species lives, so 100 cycles might not actually be that long for him.
Yeah, probably not. It's probably still relatively recent in his lifetime. So Zan says, all right then, well, you have to find Durka's corpse. That will set you free. So find proof that he's actually dead, and then you can be free of this terrible, memory and so on.
Actually, there's also something else that happens in this scene, and that's that Pilot says that the DRDs are getting nervous from what Rigel is doing.
Yeah.
And my response was, wait, the DRDs can get nervous?
Apparently.
I assumed these things were just controlled by Moya. They didn't have their own personality, but apparently they do.
Yeah, I mean, the whole thing with Moya is that she's a living ship, and I think the idea is that the extensions of her, stuff like the DRDs and Pilot, I mean, they're all alive in some fashion, including the DRDs. So
I hadn't expected that actually. So I was surprised when he said it. Like, wait, the DRDs are actually have feelings?
apparently,
I thought they were like white blood cells or something. That I mean,
they
yes,
are.
I mean, they are part of the body, but that doesn't mean they have their own personality. I mean,
they run around. They've got two little eye stalks. They make noises.
I assume that was just to make them cute.
Yeah, no, that is a nice detail of like, no, they're nervous. They have feelings, man. Don't be mean to them. Which makes it even worse. That time, Dargo kicked one of them.
Yeah.
You monster. But meanwhile, on the Sheyang ship, things are also not going that well over there because there's a frog mutiny.
Frog mutiny.
Yeah, I mean, but there's one of the Sheyangs who I think the idea is that he's a sort of younger one who's less experienced, and he's like, no, they're clearly bluffing. Let's go over there and get them. And the older, more experienced one wants to wait it out a bit more and to not be quite so hasty.
Yeah, he's like, look, Luxons are never on their own. I don't want to get us straight into an ambush. That's a bad idea.
Yeah.
And then they fight.
Yep, they have a proper fight, and the younger guy wins, and he's like, all right, let's do this.
And actually, during that fight, did you hear the sound effect that they used the moment the younger guy punches the older one out?
Oh, what was it?
That's the pie squashing sound effect that you'll hear a lot in things where a pie is thrown in somebody's face. It's like a... That was actually the sound that it was played when he was punched out.
Yeah,
It's a minor detail, but I was like, wait, what?
That's apparently this what it sounds like when two frogs punch each other. I
guess so.
There, you learned something today.
I love the sound, and they just put that in there. It's like, wait a second.
I mean, they're kind of amphibious and squelchy and a little bit slimy.
Yeah, but they don't sound like pie. Let's be honest here.
I mean, yeah, okay, that's fair.
I just like that minor detail.
So yeah, the younger Sheyang has overthrown the leader, who's actually called Turak, and is like, okay, fire on the Leviathan.
Start the countdown again.
Yeah, do that. But Crichton, Jelena, and Aeryn just about managed to get the defense screen active in time, so the weapon has no effect.
Yeah, and they work together. They quickly do everything.
Oh,
it's a cool scene, actually.
This is a really good scene because it's very heavy action. It's like a proper countdown. It's cutting between them, frantically trying to build up the defense shield and get it working. Pilot is saying like it's firing in 5, 4, and cut back to the Sheyangs, and they're like fire, and it's just really tightly edited.
I was going to say the editing on this was very good.
Yeah, it really gives that impression of urgency, and you're like, oh, what's going to happen? And something I noticed from watching is that on DVD you can kind of tell when they would cut to a commercial because there's like a short fade to black and then a fade back to the exact same scene.
Mm-hmm.
When the cannon fires at Moya, that's when there would have been a commercial break.
Oh, that would have been brilliant.
So it's like, I see what they did there. And then
good timing.
When it comes back, it's like, everything's fine. So, yeah, watching that when it was aired would have been like, whoa, no. Proper kind of, I guess a cliffhanger almost.
Yeah, a mini cliffhanger.
Mini cliffhanger.
What I really like is we see a CGI shot from the outside as the shield comes up. And that is a very beautiful shot.
Yeah, because
the shield just starts at the back and just creeps around the ship slowly forward, and then meets at the tip of the front.
Yeah, what I like is
just in time. It's beautifully rendered.
Yeah, and it's kind of like a red. It's a red colored shield, and it's like a bubble kind. It doesn't go out in like a big sphere around the ship, kind of like a Star Trek shield. It basically hugs the contours of the ship.
Yeah, it keeps a set distance from the ship, and
also Moya, because Moya is docked to them, so it goes around Moya as well. And it looks really good, and they're hung in the backdrop of like the rings in the middle of a ring system around a planet, and it's just a really nice looking CG shot.
I really like that.
Yeah,
it's real pretty.
Also, I don't know if we've described like the peacekeeper ships before, but the big cruisers like this, they're kind of like a long, thin middle with sort of like a circle around the middle, kind of like a
around the middle, slightly more to the back.
To the back,
front.
yeah.
So it's more of a nose, I guess.
Yeah, and it's kind of hanging vertically, so it's like with the middle bit sort of pointing straight down, with the circle in the center.
Yeah.
And Moya attached to one end. So there you go. But yeah, it all worked. Everything's fine, right?
Right, we're done. Okay, good.
It's all good. It's not.
It's good-ish.
It's
I think good-ish is probably the best word.
It's all right, you know.
Could have been worse. Could have been better.
Yeah, Pilot informs everyone that the screen is actually not fully operational. The way the screen works is apparently it's two systems overlaid onto each other, and only one of them is working right now.
Yeah, and it's basically leaving a lot of shifting holes in the shield.
Yeah, and they realize, well, they also don't have time to get the other one up and running, but what they can do is that Crichton's like, well, why don't we take the other system and put it on Moya?
I mean, if they could shrink the size of the ship because it only would have to cover Moya, that would in theory mean
if
it would be more stable.
Yeah, exactly. So it shouldn't be a problem. There shouldn't be any holes in it because it's a much, much smaller ship. And
I like that Aeryn and Jelena exchange glances and like, you do realize what you're asking?
Yeah. And yeah, kind of reluctantly, Jelena agrees, like, okay, we'll do that.
I like that she says, I've been sworn to never do something like this. Never integrate alien technology with peacekeeper tech. But I'll do it for you.
Okay, actually, no, the line is, it's better than that because it's, I'll not share peacekeeper technology with the enemy.
Oh.
And it says, but I'll do it for you.
Oh, I hadn't even heard that.
Yeah. So...
I didn't pick that up.
So
what I do like is that she says, I'll do it for you. I'll do it for all of you. It's like... She doesn't go with the I'll do it for all of you, but it's very clear that she meant John and then realized I should probably say the rest as well, otherwise I'm being way too obvious here.
Well, speaking of being way too obvious, well, now Jelena and John are left alone again to take things apart and get the systems ready for Moya, and they're talking, they're talking to each other about...
Science geeking out.
Yeah, science geeking out.
I like that.
Yeah, he's like, do you study cosmic theory? And she's like, yeah, what about this and that? And they really, turns out they have a lot in common, and John... I
like that earlier they're also basically exchanging culture, really.
Yeah.
He's talking about entertainment, and she's like, huh? Why would you watch that?
And then, okay, so this is probably the cheesiest part of this entire episode.
Sometimes I like a bit of cheese.
Yeah.
I mean, go ahead and tell them what happens, and we'll cut back to why I didn't mind it that much.
No, I didn't mind it at all, but I was like, oh, John, come on. But he's talking about, like you said, entertainment. It's like, these movies, they also have the part where the guy gets the girl, and they're staring at each other, and now kiss.
Yeah. And what I really like is that Jelena, apparently peacekeepers kiss slightly different.
Yeah, she kisses John on his forehead.
On his eyebrow, actually.
Yeah, like kind of not on the mouth.
She sucks his eyebrow. Look. It's what happened. Let's be honest here.
It's a different culture, okay?
Yeah, and I like that John actually laughs, smiles a bit about that, and then, of course, they kiss on the mouth.
Yeah, and it's like, oh, I see what's going on here. John, he's getting his Kirk moment.
Yeah,
that's what's
that's
happening.
exactly what I thought as well. It's like, God damn it, John, don't be a Kirk. But I actually don't mind this one that much because in previous scenes, as we said, you can really see them bonding over shared culture, just liking each other's company. It's not like, oh, you're a new girl. Well, I have to make out with you. No, it's like they actually build up to appreciating each other.
It does also seem like John has found someone who he has more in common with than anyone else currently.
Yeah, that's fair, actually.
Yeah, she's a tech. She's not a soldier.
Yeah, but they also share, like you said, they also share a lot of interests.
The reason I was like, during this scene, I was like, oh, come on, John, because I was like, you do know that there is an angry ship full of people outside who want to kill you, right? Like, what? we can, if we get through this, then you can have your Kirk moment. Like, you got to take the stuff out right now and get away.
Look, they were in a stressful situation. They weren't sure if they're gonna get out alive.
Okay.
Also, Remember a few episodes ago where John was like, "Now that I get to Dargo."
True.
I like.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. But actually, further to my point, Aeryn walks in, and it's like, "Could you get on with your job, please?"
Yeah, that's true. And we found out that Aeryn is apparently super strong because she grabs one of those pieces and just lifts it up on top of her.
I thought this was funny because John has been pulling this big, sort of like 2-meter long block out of the wall, which is apparently part of the thing they need to install. And it's really very heavy, and they've been removing that and putting them on the ground. And Aeryn comes in and is like, right, back to work, and then just like you said, grabs it, lifts it up over her head, and then walks away. And John's
clearly pissed.
Yeah, do not upset Aeryn's son. You will regret it.
No, you won't regret it. She won't give you the chance.
Yeah, that's true actually. But then,
John follows her into the corridor, and it's like, why are you so upset?
And I'm kind of on her side with this of like, hey, this is a dangerous thing right now. We've got other stuff to deal with. But and he's like, well, have you ever just clicked with someone, felt that attraction? And she actually says yes.
She's like yes, but it's never. I've never just let myself distract by. I found you interesting in the beginning.
It's not like I like you or anything.
No, it's like only in the beginning. It's like
before I realized what an idiot you are is the subtext that I'm there.
I think I actually heard the subtext being like, in the beginning, secretly I still like you, but I'm not ready to admit that yet.
Well, yeah.
That's what I heard.
All right, okay, yeah, no, I can see that as well.
And John's like,
yeah, well, it's good to clear the I'll just go back and
it's good to clear the air.
And then she lifts the thing up over her head again, walks away. It's like, yes, very clear air.
Yeah.
That's a good one. So this again, there's something between those two.
And I like that we're graduating from establishing characters to establishing connections between characters, which I really like.
Yeah, we're establishing relationships.
Yeah. So we're one step further along the story, I guess.
So yeah, John goes back to continue the work of dismantling the pieces and putting them onto Moya. So meanwhile, while Aeryn and John have been having this awkward conversation, Rigel's been confronting his demons, quite literally.
Yeah, he finds Durka's corpse.
He does, and he realizes it's Durka because it has the glass eye and the scar down the face, but is otherwise completely desiccated.
Yeah, and he finds out that apparently there's a pistol in Durka's hand, so he took his own life.
Yeah.
And Rigel's like, you coward. You fucking coward.
You coward.
You coward.
And then he spits on him.
I like that he doesn't say, the same thing he did to Jelena, just spits on one of his eyes.
He's got a habit of doing that.
Yeah, and it's like, he's like, despite anything, I'll remember this. The fact that you lost.
And then he takes back, there's like a little necklace that's in a box on Durka's desk.
Yeah, and we saw in a flashback scene that Durka took that from him.
Yeah, so that's Rigel's, and he takes that back. And actually, those flashback scenes I don't think we talked about too much, but it shows Rigel being dragged across like the ground from like a grating from underneath. It shows him in a cage being, stripped of his necklace and robes, and Durka just being very menacing towards him.
Yeah, and the way he flinches back whenever Durka gets close to him in that cage scene, I love that. That was very convincing.
Yeah, but now he's found Durka's corpse and is at peace with the whole thing.
Yeah, that nicely rounds out that piece of his arc here. Okay. But there is one thing I'm slightly disappointed about by this, because I really hope that they keep the necklace, that we see him wearing that again, because otherwise this scene would have no bearing on him going forward, I think.
I think
it was something that was very contained to Selbinian, and it'll probably never come up again.
Yeah. But actually, back on the Sheyang ship, the original commander, he's woken up and is like, okay, what did you do?
I appreciate that he actually says, So you take over a high commander during a mission, during combat, and then you fail. It's like, if you'd taken over and you succeeded, fine, but you also failed.
It's like, that's what I'm mad about, that you screwed it up.
Yeah, it's like, fair game for you trying to show some initiative, knocking me out. Good job on you. You failed. Get out there, try to make some amends, even if it costs you your life.
Yeah, and so what they're going to do is they're trying to go through the holes in the shield around the peacekeeper ship, because what they're going to do is launch a bunch of little pods with the Shayangs in them, tiny little things to go through the holes. I actually like this shot of them launching, because it's the CG model of the Shayang ship, which, by the way, is not a typical spaceship. It's like,
no,
it's blocky and angular, and it doesn't look like...
It's almost like a tower.
Yeah.
And the side of the tower, like, I'm not meaning small at the bottom, large at the top. It's just a sort of blocky cylinder.
Yeah.
I guess. And it's always showing the side of that cylinder, not any of the two ends of the cylinder.
Yeah, it doesn't appear to be flying end on. It seems to be like going, yeah, like that. And on the side there are these triangular mountings with things inside of them, which we find out are the little pods, because they line up and they fire out one by one.
Yeah, like tiny little missiles.
Yeah, which I think that's a really cool shot, and like a really good bit of design that is actually very unique.
Yeah, props to the design department on that ship. It's like like you said, it really feels like a junker. It's not built to look elegant. It's not built to look
aggressive or
it's just, this is what you strap together. There's an engine in the back, gun in the front. It doesn't look that great, but it flies.
Yeah, so the Shayangs launch their pods, trying to breach through the holes, and most of them don't make it through. One of them does.
The one that goes through, of course, is the young guy.
Yeah.
But because of his incompetence, his entire units get killed.
He's the only one to make it through.
These guys are as bad as the peacekeepers.
Yeah, no, they're kind of terrible at this.
It's like, well, you brought disgrace to your entire unit. Good luck, all of you.
Goodbye. Aeryn actually finds the Shayang and is like, right, get on the ground. She points a massive gun at him. He's like, get on the ground, get down. And he just shoots a fireball at her.
It's like out of nowhere, it's like,
fireball.
Like, holy shit. I like that Aaron's reflexes are quick enough to just jump out of the way, but it's like, where did that come from?
It's just, I love the escalating nature of this. Of like, okay, they're frog people, okay, they have this big weapon, okay, they've got through in these tiny pods. Oh, and they can also breathe fire. Yeah, sure, okay, why not? Why not?
All frogs do that, right? Why not? Why not?
Because the DM hates you, that's why.
Exactly, I was thinking the same thing.
It's like, I attack it, it spits fire at you. I'm sorry,
wait, what's...
Show me that monster manual, I need to see what this is.
Okay, I made this one up myself. It's completely fair, I think.
Fair and balanced. But yeah, he shoots a fireball and is kind of blocking off Aeryn's route, so she has to go the long way around to where Crichton and Jelena are.
Yeah, who are in the meantime are basically, they're doing something to decouple some shield pieces. Tech thing, which means that Crichton has to hold two plates away from each other, so otherwise they touch and the room blows up.
Yeah.
Have these people ever heard of rope?
Yeah, like, just put them on the other side of the room or something.
Or put tie them down.
Or put a block in between them.
That would even work.
Or something.
I mean, maybe the charge would carry. I can imagine that, but even then, like, don't grab somebody who can grow tired to hold these two. Just grab a piece of rope. We've seen chains. Just look around the pipe,
right there.
tie it. Tie the other one on the other side of the room, like, okay, do it, it's fine, go ahead.
It's a little bit
silly. They'll just hang there. I mean, John could even hold them as well. Just as an extra insurance, those chains could be there.
It is a little bit silly, but it serves to incapacitate Crichton, so that...
I know.
Like, yeah, it's
sorry, I just found that incredibly stupid.
It is kind of dumb. I was like, really? You're going to have him hold them apart? It's like, alright.
Fine.
But then the... Okay, so not only can the Shayang shoot fireballs, right? Apparently their fireballs are hot enough to melt steel, because he just melts down the door to the the engine room or wherever they are, where they're dismantling all this stuff.
And I like that John's like, they spit fire? Why does nobody ever tell me anything like this?
I'm like, yes, thank you, John. You understand how I feel. I'm glad somebody said that in the episode.
I like that. Like, yes, nobody ever tells you this. Like, God damn it, people. Inform him. He doesn't know these things. Like, Aeryn didn't even know it, I think. Otherwise, she would have just shot him.
Yeah, you'd think Dargo would have told them because he seems to know the most about them. But
yeah, Dargo's not that great on intelligence, I think.
yeah, low hint. So yeah, the Sheyang is sort of approaching them menacingly and is getting ready to breathe fire on them. And John's like, okay, if you kill me, these things will touch and then we'll all die. And the Sheyang's like, nah, maybe doesn't believe him or doesn't care. And then we have the ultimate in badass moments from Aeryn in this episode. God, this is so good.
This is very cool.
Because
like, this is perfect.
This is so good because, okay, Aeryn's had to take the long way around to get to them because the Sheyang blocked off her exits. So she comes down from the ceiling by going down on some chains while shooting the Sheyang with her rifle on the way down.
Did she do it on the way down? I thought she shot when she landed, but...
Well, she comes down, she lands, and then just shoots him, and he explodes.
She's already lined up at that point. You're right.
And she has our one-liner. She walks in and is like, sorry about the mess. I was just like, oh, it's so good. Yes.
She shoots. She scores.
Hey.
Straight. Oh, nice.
God, that was such a badass moment. I was just like,
so...
yes, so good.
Can we just for a moment appreciate Claudia Black's acting, that she can just say that with a steel face?
Yeah, she's been really good this whole episode.
Yeah.
That intensity that Aeryn has been showing.
She's incredibly good at it. And
Yeah.
even despite that intensity, small moments of humanity in there. Like anger, a bit of amusement, things like that.
Also a bit of like vulnerability when Crichton is talking to her about, have you ever clicked with someone? And she's like, yeah, you maybe, I don't know. Goodbye.
that bit as well.
But in this moment, she is entirely badass, and it's awesome. So yeah.
Oh, I love that. I love that scene so much.
And I'm glad that the one-liner wasn't like I don't know, he was what a hothead or something. It wasn't like a pun. It was just like, sorry about the mess.
Yeah.
It's like, that's so cool.
Also, minor note. Guess what makes a return when the Sheyang falls to the ground?
Is it the splat sound effect?
Yeah!
Yes! Consistency!
There it is again. It was like, hey, there it is. I think the splat sound is MVP of this episode. But wait, we recently had Claudia Black's abs guest starring. I think this is the pie splash sound guest starring this episode.
Alright, guest starring pie splashing.
Yes.
So yeah, they've blown up the one Sheyang who got through. So we're back on Moya, and Crichton actually wants the others to let Jelena stay on the Zelbidian and get picked up by Crace when he comes back.
And I realized, like, are you crazy?
Again,
have you knocked your head?
Yeah, and again, this is another one of those things with Crichton's bizarre plans of what to do with Crace, or how to deal with him. Like we had in Exodus from Genesis, where he lets the peacekeepers go and tell them where they are, and
like, yeah, that one made no sense. This one makes some sense.
Yeah, this one makes a bit more sense. But everyone else is like, well, no, we don't want to give Crace another reason to come after them, because, well, what if she tells them and, they'll find us that way? And Crichton says, well, Crace is going to come regardless of what they do. And Dargo, and says to Dargo and Zan that Jelena will keep their presence a secret. She will cover up for them.
Yeah, and also what I like is the reason... Because I thought about that right now. The reason he wants to send the signal to Crace is because the Sheyang are going to be, basically sitting out of the shield until they come out.
Yeah.
So if they heard pick up the signal going to Crace's ship, they're like, oh, we need to get out of here.
They'll get rid of the Sheyang.
Yeah, so that makes some sense.
The others aren't so sure. But actually, Aeryn vouches for her. She says, no, she will keep her word. She'll lie for us.
Because if she doesn't, Crace finds out who she's had contact with.
Says Jelena could also be deemed irreversibly contaminated, which was the phrase they used from the premiere, which means irreversibly contaminated by exposure to enemy life forms.
Yep.
And the penalty is death, or as Aeryn says, worse, exile.
Yeah, I like that. Banishment is or exile is apparently worse than death.
Yeah.
Ooh. I'll take exile over death any day of the week.
I think the idea is that, as horrible as they all are, the peacekeepers do have a sense of community and belonging to an organization, and to be exiled from them is really awful and horrible.
I mean, it's something Aeryn is experiencing.
Yeah, but Aeryn says that, well, Jelena is smarter than, telling Crais. She won't do that.
Yeah.
And so, they decide to go through with it, and the Shayangs detect that Crais' command carrier is on its way because they've sent the signal out. And Dargo's like, well, I'm sorry you're leaving. My officers were preparing revenge.
And the Shayangs like, you had nothing from the start, but you used it well.
Yeah.
I can respect that. There is no shame in losing from a clever enemy. And I also make a point of killing my clever enemies. It's like, oh.
Well, I like that they also don't just let him get away with it, scot-free, kind of. To be like, you're a smart guy. I like that. I'm going to leave you alone. It's like, well, no, it makes sense that he's like, okay, you win this time. I'm still going to kill you, though.
But next time, Gadget. Next time,
Gadget. So, yeah, they depart. And, then we have Jelena leaving Moya, which is a very it's a very sad scene because...
I mean, first we have Aeryn and Jelena talking for a bit, and she's like, okay, you need to lie.
Yeah.
Because you don't want to experience this. I think I wish I had lied.
Yeah.
In the beginning.
And yeah, Crais will ask you many questions, and you'll have to lie to him, all the time. And they kind of shake hands, and they exchange, this look, and Aeryn is kind of upset that, it's like Jelena gets to go back to the life that Aeryn left behind, kind of. Mm-hmm. Even though she'll have to lie all the time, but it's clear that even though Aeryn is making do with being part of Moya, she still very much misses that life she used to have.
Yeah, I can imagine. That's what she grew up in. I mean, she grew up in a ship.
Yeah.
We found that out at the start of the episode. We didn't mention it, but
yeah, that's a little detail.
Peacekeepers don't even have their own... I mean, she never stepped foot on a planet.
No, they were born and raised in ships like this because, yeah, at the start, she's saying that, that Crichton had been telling her about his home, about rivers and trees and things, and like, well, this is where I grew up, full of industrial, metal and engines and all of that stuff. So,
yeah.
wow.
So even so, that is a life she misses.
Yeah, because that's all she's known until now, basically. Yeah, I did like that at the end, even though they've been at odds throughout this episode, there is this kind of mutual understanding between Aeryn and Jelena.
Yeah.
Which is nice. And then Jelena has to say goodbye to Crichton. I actually like the way this is shot because you have Aeryn and Jelena talking to each other, and then Aeryn walks down the corridor because it's been in close-up this whole time, and as she walks down the corridor, it reveals that John has kind of been leaning against the wall there. And,
yeah.
That's a good shot of like the reveal of him sort of leaning there.
Him being there all that time. Yeah.
And then the first thing he says is like, "You free this weekend?"
And that is completely in character for John.
Yeah.
I like that.
It's that very kind of bittersweet thing of like, I know that you're leaving, but I'm still gonna have fun. We're gonna make a joke out of it, I guess.
Yeah, it's like trying to soften the pain, really.
Yeah.
Like trying to cope with humor, like he's been doing
this whole time.
This entire series.
Yeah, and she's like, well, I'm refitting this thing and refitting that thing. It's like, but other than that, I'm free. And she says she's never going to see him again. They realize that they can't.
Like, she can't stay because John's like, this is no way to live. He doesn't want to inflict that on her.
And he can't go with her because, well, he'll get killed by Crais.
Yeah.
Like,
I like how matter-of-factly she states that.
He's like, yep. But she says, no, well, I'm never going to see you again. And he's like, well, yeah, no, we will. We will see each other. He's trying to get a bit of hope in there of that maybe one day they will.
Yeah, but they'll work it out. And
they kiss and say their goodbyes, and it's very sad.
Yeah, and I gotta hand it to, because I think it's the actors doing it here. I don't know if the writing is that amazing, but the actors sell this very well.
Yeah.
Honestly felt a bit sad for those two.
Yeah, it was very affecting, very, very well acted, I feel. And so this is the point at which I was watching this. I was like, oh, okay. That's a sad end. And then I looked and I was like, oh, there's still a few minutes left in the episode.
Yeah.
Because that's not where it ends.
Yeah, no.
And I think, oh god, this episode is full of really good scenes.
And I think, I mean, John's line here?
Because, okay, what happens is Crichton has gone to see Aeryn. Aeryn is kind of standing on at command, looking out of the view screen and just kind of standing there, and John's walking in and he says, "Hey." And her response is, "That's a greeting I'll never understand." And they go in, and so I love this bit of dialogue where he's like, "Okay, well, it's
something like, it's very universal. It can mean a lot of things. Like, how are you doing?
yeah, well, to see if somebody wants to talk about things." And he says, "Well, what do I say if I don't want to?" Say, "Well, then you say hey back." And she just says, "Hey." And then John's like, "Okay. However, it can be trumped by if the person hearing that knows that the person who doesn't want to talk needs to."
Hey.
Hey.
And I like that Aeryn looks at him and just gives him a brief smile.
Yeah, that's really nice.
You don't see her do that a lot, but she really appreciates him just being like, "Come on, tell me."
I like this, that she's not brushing him off again. She's actually like, "All right, no, you got me. Fine, let's talk." And then, she says, on her world, that showing pain is a sign of weakness, and you can't understand me. You can't understand what I'm feeling. And then I like that John stands up for himself here. He's like, "Okay, you're always bashing on me for being weak all the time, about showing weakness and showing all that kind of stuff, but this time it was an advantage. It's what allowed us to survive by, giving Jelena a chance."
Yeah, and what I really like that she's like, "You don't know me. You don't understand me at all." And then he says probably the best line
this is so good.
from this entire episode. Basically like, "Oh, I'm always imagining what it'd be like to get back home." Being like just walking up to the front door, my brother's bike standing against the wall, and just going in, walking up the stairs, smelling the breeze of the old house, going up to my room, looking at a poster of Clint Eastwood. There's a brief glance between them. Like, who the hell's Clint Eastwood?
Movie reference,
Yeah, and just sitting down on my bed, and then I imagine what it'd be like if everybody is dead. Like, everybody I know is just lying there, dead, when I get back. The only thing she responds with is like, "I stand corrected."
Yeah, because what he actually says is like, what would it be like, is it worth going home then if everyone I know is dead? And that's when she says, "I stand corrected."
Yeah.
And that's the end of the episode. Like, oh, what a way to end it.
That's very heavy.
That's so heavy.
Because it drives home what position Aeryn is. Because she can never go back. There is no going back to it.
No.
At all.
And I think she's finally kind of accepting that, really, that no, you can't go home again.
No. She's the only one of them that has nothing to go back to.
Yeah. But she's not alone, because John certainly in some way does understand that. I mean, the way I thought that was going to go was that, he doesn't have a way to go home.
Yeah.
Like, he doesn't know if he'll ever go home again.
No, but it's even worse. Like, she could, in theory, go home, but there's just no home left. If he can find a way, he can go home. Even if she could find... I mean,
that's true.
The way's pretty easy. Just go back.
Yeah.
She can't. Even if she could prevent being killed by Cray, she still wouldn't be able to go home.
No. Oh, this is so good. I love this. I really like this episode. I was a big fan of this. Just the combination of really tightly directed and shot and edited action sequences, like the bit where they're trying to put the shield up, the bit where Aeryn comes down from the ceiling and shoots the Xiang, and all of that stuff, along with the really great drama and the relationships and the understanding between the two people, between the bonding, and let's just say the bits with Aeryn, John, and Jelena were the standout bits for me. Oh, and Rigel, of course, as well.
Oh, yeah.
But Dargo and Zan they didn't have...
This wasn't their episode.
No. And just you got the whole thematic thing of people cut off from their world, because Jelena, as well, she's been cut off for that whole time she's been stuck there, and she gets to go back.
Which makes the fact that John and Aeryn can't even worse, I guess.
Yeah. And I like that it's kind of setting up that connection between John and Aeryn, because obviously you have that very direct thing of when Aeryn says, "I found you," interesting at the start.
Gee, I bet they're not trying to make these two a couple at some point in the series.
But then again, at the end, you have that they do understand each other and that they actually have a lot more in common than they may have thought beforehand. Like there's some common ground there, something to bond over.
They come out of this story differently than they went into it.
Yeah,
which is a very good hallmark of a story.
Yeah, you want that. You want development. You want growth, and that's what we got. Along with some badass action scenes. This episode had everything.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna. There's only the only black mark I can find is the fact that they were holding the plates away from each other.
That was kind of dumb. Yeah.
By hands, but I think this is going to be the first time I'm going to give a 5 out of 5.
Oh, 5 out of 5. I was thinking.
I wouldn't be surprised if this ends up. I mean, if there's some inflation to this, that later on I'll expect more from a 5. But right now, this is. I think this deserves the 5.
I would agree with you. I think certainly at that top end, like 5 out of 5, or I would agree with that.
I don't want to do halves here.
That gets
because I really just want to give a 5.
Yeah, I want to give it a 5, so I will basically.
Yeah.
Just everything about the peacekeepers and Aeryn and John and I mean, they did commit that trope of the Kirk thing of like meet the alien girl and fall in love, and then she's gone by the end of the episode. But
Yeah, but like I said, I believe these two falling in love.
Yeah, and
they actually set that up believably.
And also, it is also used to further the character of John and Aeryn as well.
Yeah, it's not just there for its own sake.
Yeah, which is great. Actually, I like that they did do that. So that's why. If it had just been there for its own sake, I probably would have taken points off for that. But it does more than just be a romantic subplot. It actually has wider implications.
So 5 out of 5.
Yeah, and the effects were great. Like, you had the CG shots were actually pretty good. Yeah, and God, the costume work on the Xiang was so good. And
I mean, even at the Spy Squash Down.
Yeah. So here's the thing. So we've got a bit of trivia about this.
Ooh.
So there may be a reason why this is a bit more tightly edited and shot, and just a better overall package than previous episodes, because this was the first episode of Farscape that was shot as a single episode. So because the previous 6 episodes were shot in 3 back-to-back blocks.
Oh.
So they were basically 2 episodes were shot back-to-back for the past 6 episodes, but this was the first episode shot entirely by itself, not back to back with another episode, self-contained.
So they devoted all their time to this episode.
Yes.
And then, I hope they keep doing that.
Yeah, I mean, this is the first time, but I mean, shows will do that. They will shoot back to back to save on time, basically, because sometimes it's easier to just shoot a bunch of things back to back, especially if you don't have to change location very much.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, like if you're mostly on Moya, but this had like an entire, like half of the episode, if not more, was actually set on the Zelbinian, which is an entirely different set, like an huge industrial area. So yeah, that makes a lot of sense that they would film that as a self-contained episode. Quick other bit of trivia: the Xiang this isn't actually their first appearance. They are in the background of the premiere.
Oh yeah, they're probably in one of those one of the planets. The planet they visit.
The Commerce planet.
Yeah, that makes sense. Now that you mention it, I think I might actually be able to point them out.
Well, one of them was apparently speaking to Zan in the background. And also, this was the first ever episode of Farscape aired in the world. This was a special preview to the series on the Sci-Fi Channel's sister network, the USA Network.
Oh.
Broadcast 4 days before the premiere aired on Sci-Fi.
Oh, interesting. I mean, aside from the fact that it jumps straight to the Kirk trope, it's a very good episode.
Well, yeah. My only worry is that it's for me, it stands out above the previous 6. So to show people that first, and then the ones after that, it's kind of be a little bit of a letdown. Not too much, but
no,
that
I think
build up.
And if you know that that's coming, like, okay, you can forgive the first few episodes if you know how good it will get at the end.
And it gets very good.
But I do think that without the context of the first 6, this one does seem a bit weird.
But I can also see why this is like their preview one to like show off what they can do. To be like,
I will also accept that bit.
This is our badass episode that we went all in on, and it really shows.
Yeah.
Like, this is our first 5 out of 5.
It's true. It's true. You open strong. I can accept that.
We're only 7 episodes in. We're not even halfway through the first season. Oh.
Like I said, there might be some inflation. I might later on, as more good episodes start piling up, I might expect more from a 5. But
yeah, that's true. But we're not going to go. We're not going to go back and reevaluate our previous scores. That's too much like
other
hard
people
work.
get to do that.
Yeah, if you fans listening to this podcast want to do that, you go ahead and send us the results. I ain't going to do it.
Nope.
I got too much work on my hands as it is. I have to edit this damn thing.
I just need to show up.
Oh. How dare you?
I got the easy job.
Oh. I'll get you next time, Gadget. All I really have to say at the end is that this was really, really good, and I really liked it.
Next week's can only disappoint.
Well, we'll see.
Not.
But yeah, speaking of next week, the next episode we'll be doing is That Old Black Magic.
That sounds ominous.
It does a little bit. It involves our old friend, well, a commerce planet.
Okay.
And a being who feeds off negative energy. Let's say that.
Aww.
Give you a little bit of a tease for next time.
Interesting.
But yeah, now the episodes after this, they've got a lot to live up to.
Yeah.
You've got to compete against PK Tech Girl now. So
you got to compete against Aeryn. So Ellen Ripley. I'm sorry.
Aeryn Ripley.
Yeah, Aeryn Ripley.
Nice. Get away from him, you bitch. But yes, we will be back next week with That Old Black Magic. And if you want to find out more about this podcast, or if you want to support the podcast, it is brought to you by listeners like you through the CantWearHats Patreon. That is patreon.com/CantWearHats, that supports all the projects that I'm doing, such as this podcast, live streams on Twitch, and all other sorts of things to come. And if you want to get in touch with us, you can find me on Twitter at CantWearHats, and you can find RedNightmare at Fadolkanintry on Twitter.
Yes.
But yes, we'll be back next time with That Old Black Magic. So until then, have a good week, and we'll see you soon. Goodbye.
Bye.
Okay, so in order for the podcast to not explode, you need to hold these 2 plates across from each other, make sure they never touch.
Can I use rope?
No.
Okay.